the colors are an easy way for you to say, okay, I'm going to have this color and this color. I'm going to put that together in this meal. Or I'm going to have these two colors today. I'm going to have these two other colors tomorrow. So that way, you're getting your diversity of your fiber. Hi, welcome to the Judy Terrell Show, where I explore topics intended to optimize every body 50, 60, 70, and above. Are you over 50? And are you somebody who suffers from bloating, gas, distension of your abdominal area, cramping, and other IBS type symptoms that are uncomfortable and disruptive to your life? Then welcome. You are now in episode number 2 of my series of 6, where I'm presenting life pattern changes that you can make with your eating that can help to minimize those symptoms I just mentioned and maximize what I call your happy gut. Welcome, everybody. So this is episode number 2, and I'm talking about, in this episode, fiber and variation of fiber. All right. So fiber is in foods that we eat, and it is non-digestible. So it goes through the stomach, it goes through the small intestine, gets into the colon, and in the colon, fiber feeds the fermentation process of the bacteria that live there and helps them to diversify and to create short chain fatty acids, which then help to keep the gut healthy and happy, to reduce inflammation, to decrease risk of diabetes and other inflammatory diseases, and to decrease risk of obesity. So eating fiber is very good for your gut, in particular your colon health, and therefore the health of your entire body. Eating too little fiber is often the main reason why there's a lack of diversity in the colon, and that lack of diversity can lead to an overgrowth of the pathogen bacteria and funguses and yeasts and molds that live in there, and then they, are respirating, feeding off the other foods that we eat, and they are creating gas and distension and bloating. All right, so eating too little fiber is a problem, and then that is the first thing that I'm talking about in this episode, is increasing the fiber amount in your diet, not from added fiber, because there are plenty of foods that are out on the market now that will say that they have X number of grams of fiber, or they are a high fiber food, but they are containing fiber that has been taken out of other foods, packaged into bags that food manufacturers now can buy and then add into basically a low fiber food. All right, that is not the kind of fiber that I am highlighting or that I am suggesting that you use to help your gut be happy. I am suggesting that you eat fibrous foods in their whole form. All right, so let's talk about that. What are foods that are fibrous that you can eat in their whole form? Well, many of them. The first one is your vegetables. All right, so we've got cauliflower and broccoli and carrots and peppers and squashes, green and yellow, onions, tomatoes, all leafy greens. All these vegetables are all high in fiber, and many of us are not eating enough of them. All right. Other things that have high fiber are some of the starchy vegetables like legumes, beans, like black beans, kidney beans, chickpeas, lentils, oats, oatmeal, quinoa, brown and black rice. So our whole grains and our starchy vegetables and our low starch vegetables, and then our fruits, a variety of fruits, peaches, pears, bananas, berries, apples, right? So all these are whole food forms of fiber. Now, what many of us are doing wrong with fiber, there's 3 main things that we're doing wrong. The first one I've already mentioned, we're not eating enough of it. We're eating too much processed food, and maybe even processed food that has added fiber to it, but not in its whole food form, that is not going to have the same effect as when you're eating the food, the high fiber foods in their natural package, like as a whole food. So if we're eating too little of them, we are not feeding the good bacteria that are in our gut, and they get overridden by the bad bacteria that are there naturally, but they're kept in check by the good ones. But when the good ones are going down because we're not eating enough fiber, and the bad ones are going up because we're eating too much processed foods, then that is the perfect storm for distension, bloating, gassing, and IBS symptoms. Okay. It can also factor into bouts of constipation and diarrhea, or a back and forth between those two. So eating too little fiber, there's our first intervention. We've got to add fiber back in their whole food form and take them in on a regular basis. All right. Now, the second problem with fiber that most of the clients that I see are doing when they have unhappy guts and are also battling weight loss is that then they hear, okay, I need to eat more fiber. I haven't been eating that much of it. So then they go overboard and they actually then up the amounts too rapidly, too much. And then they get the same symptoms like gas, distension, cramping, pain, irritable bowel symptoms, constipation, and diarrhea. So too much fiber can also result in the same symptoms. So you don't want to be going from eating too little and then just go overboard because you've read and heard, and I'm saying that we need more fiber. You've got to progress the amount you're having. That's the number one thing that clients that come to me, they say, I tried to add the fiber that you told me, and it made my symptoms worse. I can't eat beans. All right. That's a common, or I can't eat cruciferous vegetables. And so I'm going to help you, the viewer here, avoid that. If you know you've been eating low fiber and you're going to say, okay, I want to increase the health of my colon, I want to arrest some of these irritable bowel type symptoms that I'm having, you want to start a progressive increase of fiber. So you don't want to do too much at once. You might want to have like a quarter of a cup of broccoli one time in the day, not 4 times in the day, and then let that, then the next day have a quarter cup in your lunch, and then the next day. And then when your body, like you've done that for a week, then you might go up to a quarter cup at lunch and then a quarter cup at dinner. All right. So Hi, everybody. I wanted to interrupt this podcast because I want to give you something. Your Second 50.life is my virtual platform that is designed for both men and women over 50 and 60, 70, and 80. And it includes pre-recorded video information on exercise and how to do it, whether you're fit and in good health, or if you have bad knees, bad shoulders, a bad back, whatever. It includes information on how to eat for weight management and how to eat for health management. It includes information on the psychology of aging and what do we need to do in our heads, because let's face it, this aging thing is not for the faint of heart. So your Second 50.life is a virtual platform of resources that you can access at your own leisure, but it also includes 2 times a month live video coaching with me so that you can bring your own individual questions and get individual coaching, as well as have access to all the information on the pre-recorded videos. So please check it out, because we're all in this together and we got this if we work as a team. All right, everybody, back to the show. Thanks. Principle I'm suggesting you here is like slightly increase and then do that for a period of time, a couple days, a week. If you're tolerating it and you're not getting over gassy, then you can add more. All right. And everybody's different. So the amount that one person would add versus that will blow up someone's gut versus somebody else is not the same, which is why I'm not giving specific amounts here, but in giving you the concept so you can pay attention to your own body. So the concept is, if you're eating too little fiber, which most of us are, and you take on, I'm going to add in more whole food fiber in my eating plan, then you have to say, I'm going to start small. and I'm going to have some and I'm going to observe how it is. And then if that's okay, if it's not okay, I'm going to back off and have I'm going to cut it in half and then have that half amount the next day. Or if that amount was okay, then I'm going to add a little bit more the next day, right? So you're increasing in a progression. So that you're not blowing up your gut, and you're getting your body gets used to this amount, and then you can add a little bit more, and then you can add a little bit more until you get to the point where the recommended dosage of fiber grams in a day for over 50 men and women is about 25 grams. All right. You can look that up on Google. Many, because the things I'm suggesting that you eat don't have labels, Whole Foods. So Google it and find out how many grams of fiber is there in a half a cup of broccoli, right? And then you'll get an idea. Let's say it's 2, right? I think that's about what it is. Then you're starting with 2 grams, and then you can add to 4 grams. You can progress yourself that way. So your internet is going to be a resource for you to figure out how many grams you're taking in to start. So it's a slow progression of increasing fiber so that you don't blow up your gut as you're trying to help your gut. Now, the third thing that we need to be aware of that most of my clients do they're on the right track, but they're not doing it correctly, is diversification of the fiber. There is over 1,000 strands of microorganisms that live in your colon, and there's over 1 trillion individual microorganisms. But there's 1,000 different families of types of organisms that live in there. So different fibers will feed different strands. All right. So the third thing that people do wrong that can create the distension, the gas, the bloating is eating the same fibers over and over again and not having enough diversity. So how do you combat that? It's kind of obvious. So one day you might have the broccoli, and then the second day you might have some legumes, and then the third day you might have some oats as you're trying to increase the amounts up to the 25 grams. My biggest kind of hack or tip for how to get diversity of fiber into your body is colors. All right. So if you think about your low starch vegetables, we've got 5 categories and colors. We've got red, orange, white, green, and purple. All right. So if you want to take on getting more diversity, many of my clients say, I eat green vegetables every single day. I'm like, that's great. But the green ones have a certain package of certain type fibers and certain micronutrients, vitamins and minerals. And so green is great, but we want to then diversify that. You want to mix some green with some red. You want to have some red and white, red, white, and then bring purple. So that might be some eggplant with tomatoes and mushrooms. White, purple is eggplant, and tomatoes would be red. And again, then staying to a half cup portion as you're trying to slowly increase the amount of fiber, but you're bringing in the diversification at the same time. And that's an easy way that's an easy formula to follow. Same thing with the fruit. Have purple berries like grapes, and then mix that with your green grapes, and then have kiwi, and then have, that on the same day you might have a plum. So bringing in purple, green, red, white apples. So the colors are an easy way for you to say, okay, I'm going to have this color and this color. I'm going to put that together in this meal. Or I'm going to have these 2 colors today, and I'm going to have these 2 other colors tomorrow. So that way you're getting your diversity of your fiber. All right. So second tip here, my second episode in my 6-part series is get the right amount of fiber, not too little, not too much. If you're not eating that much, then start slow on the way up to try to get 25 grams in, but that might take you 3 months to get up to if you're doing it progressively. So starting with a couple grams, especially if you're somebody who's been eating very low fiber each day, and then go up to 4 grams, and then go up to 6 grams. And again, not added fiber put into food, but food in its natural form that is high fiber. So now you're not doing too little, you're on your way to getting the 25 grams, and then not to go too high on that. And then the third thing is diversify your choices. And the easiest way to do that is to look at the food and pick different colors and mix those up each day. So you're getting 2 or 3 different colors, but different ones each day. And then, cycling back through them because there's only 5 different colors that we're going to be using. So, you'll be able to cycle through and have purple, red, and green, and then white, purple, and orange, and then the next day purple, red, and green. But you're diversifying over time, and you're getting a mix of them as opposed to just staying with just the green ones, for instance. Okay, everybody. So fiber, really important. Go back to episode number 1 where I talked about fermented foods and probiotics, because now that's one. We want to add that into this tip that I just gave you, and 4 more to follow on our way to having a happy gut. All right, everybody, please like this video if you found it was valuable. Follow my station. Check out my your50.life, yoursecond50.life. Go to my website. I've got a whole, battery of helpful tools, videos, PDFs, documents, and information for you if you're over 50 and a man and a woman, and you're looking to make your second 50 be optimal. All right, everybody, we got this aging thing. See you in the next video. And if you'd like to have access to some of my additional resources, I can be found at Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and on my website, www.judyterrell.com.